Hello everybody and welcome back to NCAA 2005 in the Idaho Vandals Dynasty mode here. We're at the end of year number 5 following an 11-1 regular season campaign, which has led us to New Orleans in the Superdome to play the Louisville Cardinals out of the Conference USA, who are 6-5. In our second ever bowl game in the Lynch era. It's our third bowl game, I think, period, just in program history. I think Idaho, before we took over, has only been to the one bowl, which I've mentioned before, the Humanitarian Bowl, I think in 98, and outside of that, they haven't done anything else. So we finally get some more bowl play here. We're going bowling here in NOLA after beating SMU in the previous season in the Silicon Valley Classic. So we're finally getting another chance at a bowl game, back-to-back bowl appearances. We didn't get to one in year number 3 when we went 7-5 because of just, tie-breaking scenarios in the Sun Belt and bowl tie-ins and stuff like that, you understand. But we're the game of the week, so I guess this is the week before all the New Year's Six and stuff, all the BCS bowl games take place here. So we're, I guess, the top bowl game of all the other bowl games, which I refuse to believe that an 11-1, 14th ranked Idaho Vandals team against a 6-5 Louisville would be one of the best bowl matchups before the BCS bowl games. So. But we are a fun team. We are one of the better teams because of people like Nicholas Bullard, who have really made a huge impact on our offense after transferring from Nebraska a couple seasons ago. Now, I believe it's a couple seasons because he sat out last year. So, but either way, we're looking for our second straight bowl victory under the helm of Idaho with Lynch. So, and we have Matt Norwood back, which is the biggest thing here. Matt Norwood is finally healthy enough to play quarterback in this game, so we're not going to be seeing Dan Worthington anymore in this game, but it's not really going to matter if we can't stop Louisville on defense, as their running back gets completely out into open space. Unfortunately, I am going to say this right now, unfortunately, I recorded the next offseason video for Idaho before I wrote down the roster sheet for Louisville, so my roster sheet's incomplete. They have some players in the next season that are currently on this roster right now that I can name, like their quarterback, Darrell Rivero, I'm pretty sure is still the starter for Louisville, even in this season, so I'll be able to call him out, but Higgins has already graduated, who's the running back for Louisville, but because they flashed his name, I'll be able to remember it now moving forward, but their receiving core I don't fully have, their tight end I don't have either, so just a little thing to note here as we move forward into this game here. But Louisville facing a 3rd and long here, already on offense once again, and Rivero dumps that one off short to a receiver, and he cuts upfield with some fancy spin moves to get inside the 40-yard line of Idaho, and Louisville is once again moving on offense after a quick drive stalled out previously to give them a 3-point lead. So Louisville looking to add on to their lead here after stalling out originally, and they do flash the stats at some point. I don't know if I included it in the video, but Louisville's 9th in the country in third down conversion percentage, so that is something to look out for in this game, as Rivero takes a deep shot downfield and finds an open receiver inside the 5-yard line, and he's finally going to be brought down by a couple Idaho defenders just shy of the goal line, but now Louisville is knocking on the door, and they very well could get inside. And now another 3rd down for the Cardinals, and they're going to hand this one off to their fullback, which is also still on the roster, Darrell Weathers, and he manages to get inside the end zone for Louisville's first touchdown of the day. So they're not going to get stalled out here and face another field goal attempt. They are going to score. So 10-0 now is the score, with just 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Got to get something moving on offense. Norwood rolls out here and flips one out downfield, and he finds Huber, the tight end, who hauls that one in here to get inside the Louisville 35. So we finally get some positive yardage here on offense. As you can see, we haven't really done much of anything so far in this first quarter, as Norwood a little bit rusty getting back into the fray here, after having maybe a little bit of time to get warmed up back into playing. But he does make a completion this time here as he dumps this one off into a whole mess of players, both Idaho and Louisville players, but fortunately it's one of our own receivers who comes down with it past the sticks for the first down. So fast forward to his 2nd and 10 now inside the 25 of Louisville. Norwood plenty of time to throw here, fires one across the middle, and it's going to be caught here, I believe, by Nicholas Bullard, who hauls that in here for another first down. So the Vandals now moving ever so closer to the Louisville end zone here. It's 1st and goal inside the 10 here from about the 6 or 7 yard line. Norwood rolls out to his right, still rolling, and flips one out to a completely wide open receiver in the end zone. And I want to say it was Conrad McNeil, but I don't know if it was. I think it might have been Conrad McNeil. We might get another look at it, and we can maybe better see the numbers here of who this was. Could have potentially been Dylan Lawrence as well. Yeah, it looks like it might have been Dylan Lawrence, who you might forget is still on the roster sheet, but yeah, no, I think that was Conrad McNeil, number 83. I believe it was. So first quarter comes to a close. We come within 3 points of Louisville after the first quarter. Really seemed like it was all Louisville. We only are down 3 points, but the Cardinals on the move here in the second quarter now. Rivero fakes the handoff and flips it off to an open man across the field, across the middle, and he's going to cut upfield and get into the end zone for another Louisville touchdown. And the Cardinals' offense right now just seems to be really clicking on all cylinders. They seem to be pretty effective, really through the air, but they've even ran the ball somewhat decently well so far early on in this game. So it's going to be really tough for our defense to kind of catch up to the Cardinals. Something you wouldn't expect from a 6-5 team, but it's not super surprising. So once again, back on offense on a 3rd and short. Rivera's going to go with a reversal here, and that one's going to get snuffed out quickly by our defense. But Louisville, they want to play aggressive here. 4th and 2, they're going to keep the offense on the field. It's going to be a handoff to the running back Higgins, and he's going to get across the first down marker to keep Louisville's drive alive here. So another 3rd down or 4th down conversion here, unable to stop Louisville, and their offense is just going to be able to kill more time and just continue to create a new opportunity as Rivero flips this one over down the sideline. It's going to be hauled in just inside the 5, and Louisville now once again knocking on the door to score again. We could find ourselves potentially down a pretty devastating margin in the New Orleans Bowl, as Weathers, the fullback, gets the fullback dive call, and he gets into the end zone for another Cardinal touchdown. And Louisville's really starting to hammer it on here, now down 24-7 here late in the second quarter, under 2 minutes. Norwood got to get the Vandals offense moving somehow, and it's Nicholas Bullard with a nice reception. He's running upfield and gets inside the 40 before he's brought down by a gaggle of Cardinal players. And that's exactly the type of big play that we needed, but we're still really kind of falling behind Louisville in terms of production so far in this first half, and we really got to get something moving here. So that was a really important pass, and it looks like the run maybe has been snuffed out a little bit by Louisville, which is a huge aspect of our game plan. So Norwood's really had to rely on his arm, which isn't one of his strengths. So we're going to go with the pitcher to Keith Bridges, who's able to at least get to the edge and get a first down. Maybe not as much creativity out in open spaces we're normally used to with Bridges, but it's still a nice pickup here that we can kind of rely on and continue to build on late in this first half drive. Really desperate to get some points here, maybe make this a 10-point game once again, if at all possible. So 2nd and 16 after a sack. Norwood drops back. Pressure's coming off the edge again. Picked up nicely. He takes a shot towards the end zone. It's batted around by a couple Louisville defenders, but Nicholas Bullard comes down with it in the end zone, but he's injured on the play. And he would bruise his shoulder, and he would be out for the rest of the game. So Nicholas Bullard makes an amazing acrobatic catch here to get us our 2nd touchdown of the game, but that's going to be it for him. So he's going to be done for the rest of this game, and that is a humongous blow. Our biggest offensive contributor and player now out for the remainder of the game, and we're down 10 still after the first half. Well, we got to figure something out here. So on a 3rd and short, we're going to hand this one off to Bridges, and he gets caught up on the line of scrimmage, finally bounces outside, and a couple juke moves is going to get him across the 30. So that's the kind of creativity in open space that I was talking about just a couple seconds ago that you kind of are used to with Keith Bridges and you're expecting out of him. It's more plays like that. So a nice play from Bridges, and that's going to get us deep into Louisville territory, and that's very important from Bridges because now that we don't have Nicholas Bullard, we're going to have to find that production somewhere else on offense, especially down like we are, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to do it through throwing the football anymore. So cut to another 3rd and short situation. Norwood across the middle cannot connect here with Patrick Wilkerson, and Patrick Wilkerson's going to get injured on that play. But fortunately, he would be okay. He would return later on in the game. He would not be injured for a substantial amount of time, but right now it's a clinic right now in our receiving core. Louisville's just got way too much strength in their secondary. And we're going to bring out Norman Mays to try and nail this field goal, and he can't do it. That ball falls short. It looks like it might have sailed maybe underneath the crossbar, but regardless, that kick is going to be no good, so the lead is going to remain at 10 points for Louisville, but we are back on offense once again as the Cardinals offense is struggling here in the second half to get rolling, but Norwood has a pass get tipped and batted around. It's going to be intercepted, so another costly mistake for the Vandals here, or rather, I mean, we haven't really made a ton of mistakes, but not really able to move on offense, and then turnovers is going to be desperate here, or devastating here. So on a 4th and 9, Louisville's going to try and go for it here on a fake punt, and it's nearly intercepted here. That was almost a really nice acrobatic play from Vernon McIntosh, the defensive tackle, but he's unable to haul it in. But regardless, we're going to get decent field position because of Idaho's because of Louisville, rather, risky game plan or play call here on 4th down. But we can't do anything with the football as the 3rd quarter comes to a close, so Louisville back with the ball once again to start the 4th quarter, and now it's their fullback, I believe, again, who gets into open space after some fancy spin moves, and he gets into the end zone. It might be Higgins, I think, the running back. We'll get another look at it. and see exactly who it was, but a huge breakdown from our defense. And now that's a fullback. That's the fullback dive, man. That's Darrell Weathers, the fullback for Louisville, getting into open space here, and it's a foot race. Nobody wanted to make a hero play dive to stop him, so Louisville goes up 31-14, and now just 4.5 minutes left here on this third down. We managed to stop Louisville again here. A very, very nice play as Weathers is tackled short of the line to gain from Warren Gross, the strong safety. He makes a great first down saving play here, but it's Louisville, man. They're playing aggressive, so 4th and 1, they're going to try and win this game on offense, and with another handoff, they're going to pick up the first down, as we have just been unable to stop Louisville on these 4th down plays, as Higgins picks up the first down for the Cardinals, and they'll essentially be able to go into kill the clock mode, and now just a minute left to go. They've worked it in with goal to go. It's a handoff to Higgins, and he's going to fall forward into the end zone, and Louisville will continue to add on to their point total in this game, and it's going to be a long drive back for some Idaho faithful here, a long drive back to Moscow, as the Vandals just completely stalled out on offense following Nicholas Bullard's injury, and we have been unable on defense to really come up with an answer for Louisville's offense, which you wouldn't think is really all that good. After looking at some of the overalls, flipping back through their roster, I think they stack up a lot better with us than they do. I don't know what kind of season Louisville had in Conference USA, which got them to 6-5 in the first place, but it must have been really tough. They must have had a tough out-of-conference schedule. I don't know what their conference record is. I didn't get a look at it before we went into this, because we really haven't had a reason to focus on Conference USA leading up to this point here. But a funny thing to note is that historically, the year that this game came out, so 2004, would be Louisville's last season in Conference USA. They would then move to the Big East, while the Big East would still be a thing. And so they're going to be stuck in Conference USA forever in the sim, even though in real life they would only be there for the first season of the sim. So looking at the stat breakdown at the end of things, we ended up having a decent game, kind of on par with where we normally are, over 300 passing yards and over 100 rushing yards, but as you can see, Louisville was just so much more effective with the ball than we were. Those 4th down conversions were really crucial. I bet if we stop half of those, then half of Louisville's red zone attempts don't really happen, and maybe half of their points don't happen, to maybe at least make it a bit closer of a game. But regardless, we needed to play better on both sides of the ball. Matt Norwood has a terrible first game back at the helm here of this offense. He really struggles to get going here. 2 interceptions, and that completion percentage is just absolutely ghastly, man. It's awful. Keith Bridges has a decent game here. Norwood didn't really run as effectively as he should have. Nicholas Bullard was really just starting to heat up late in the first half before he got injured. That took him out of the game, and that really just kind of torpedoed really any chance that we had of really keeping ourselves into the game, which I didn't think would be the case, because we're a running team. I thought between Norwood, we'd be able to run here, but our offense completely stalled out. But regardless, our performance this year got Lynch a couple of offers from some pretty big programs. Texas A&M is taking a look at us here after a 4-7 season in the Big 12. They're looking to make a change at head coach, and they want Lynch to be that change. In real life, Lynch would probably take that job, but obviously we're in the series. It's an Idaho series, so we're sticking with Idaho. But LSU also throws in a bid here after a 6-6 season in the SEC. All of their goals seem to be pretty on brand with the brands that are offering the jobs, but we're going to decline all those offers here and move forward now towards the end of the season. But the biggest bit of news here, we get an invitation to the Pac-10. Now, I do not believe that the program is in a place to compete in the Power 6, specifically in the Pac-10, but in my previous history of doing this before, like playing these games before, if we deny this invitation now, it'll probably be a few seasons before we get another one, and I really don't want to wait that long. I'd rather we just make the move now after 5 seasons, rather than wait till maybe potentially at the end of the decade to finally move to the Pac-10, being in the Sun Belt. So canonically, we're going to say that Idaho's plan was always to get into the Power 6 and get into the Pac-10, so this is our first opportunity to do it. The donors are happy about it, so we're going to move to the Pac-10 and replace Arizona State, which also I didn't want to do. I didn't want to separate Arizona and Arizona State, but both programs have been pretty bad, so I didn't think it mattered that much. But either way, Florida ends up winning the BCS national title, beating Boston College of all teams. So that's going to end year number 5, and in the next video, we're going to cover our offseason. So hope to see you guys all there.